So basically, I saw his Instagram story. I never knew Nas before. So one of my friends were like, "Oh, there's this um, Israeli Arab guy who is making 1 minute videos. It's so interesting. He pitches good ideas, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna follow him." I followed him on Facebook and on Instagram. A week later, he happens to be in New York. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm in New York. I'm creating this content. Whoever wants to work with me, please DM me or call me." And then I called him. There was a call button on Instagram, and his phone was basically directed to Instagram. Never do that. Never call someone, guys.
No?
No, I don't recommend it. Maybe DM, but don't call. But for this case, it happened to be the right thing for me. You know, I called him. He didn't pick up. And then he called me like after 2 hours, and I'm like, he's calling, and then I don't like recognize the number, and then I'm calling out like, hello, who's this? He's like, oh yeah, somebody called me, and then I could hear his voice. I'm like, hey dude, you're Nas, right? Blah blah blah. And like, oh, I saw your story, you know, like you want to collab with like creators. And he's like, yeah, I'm in New York. I would have a free time in 2 days. Let's get talking and like let's talk about things. I'm like, okay. And then we started DMing, texting, got his number, and then we create a video. How cheap is New York City? That video gets like, I don't know, 200,000 views over a day. And yeah, that was my first collab with him. It was pretty successful. I took him to Brooklyn, my neighborhood. He got to fly his drone. I guess that was the first time where my mom saw kind of a difference, I guess, you know, because they never believed in something like that with social media stars. And then I remember I got the keys from my mom to go to the rooftop, you know, and when she gave me the keys, and she's like, oh, who's that guy? And then my mom didn't know. My sister was in the office. And then she's like, oh, this is the Nas Daily guy, you know? And then she showed my mom, and then my mom was like, oh, why don't you bring him in? Like, we could, you know, it's like the traditional stuff. We could get to know each other, you know, like maybe have lunch. And I was like, Mom, like, we don't have time. We just, like, need to shoot and leave, you know? So that's what we did. And then he ended up calling me to his birthday party. He counts his birthdays as percentages. So he's turning, I don't know, 33% or 34%. I don't know. So I went to that party and I saw many other creators. So I had my first hyperlapse ready on my phone. So I saw Piano Around the World. I don't know if you know him.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, Dotan Negrin. So that's where I showed him my hyperlapse. I'm like, that's what I could create, you know? That's what I do. And then Dotan was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, that's what I need. Like, Dotan needed this kind of person who could stitch up pictures and export them, because he did create like all these GIFs back when he was like traveling, and when he was on the road, but he didn't know how to stitch them up, and he needed a guy. So I was the guy. I kind of approached him and showed him. I was like, dude, that's what I need.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, and then that's how we got to work with Dotan Negrin, Piano Around the World. And then just like the snowball kept rolling and rolling after that because of Dotan, yeah.
I kind of want to go back to the phone call.
Yeah.
So first, why do you say no one should do the phone call? Like, from someone that has worked for, why do you think it's not a good idea?
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, Nas is not an American, you know? If they're American creators who are from the West, basically, people don't like that, you know? Yeah. Nas is like, he's an Israeli. He like visits all around the world. He has different kind of mentality. He gets all these cultural values from different countries because he's always on the road and he's not in like one place. But it's weird, like even for a New Yorker, you know, like people like, when I go to my friend's house, I text them I'm here. I don't even call them. You know what I mean? That's like the culture now. That's how I feel, you know. But yeah, if it's an international creator, just call him.
Yeah,
he doesn't mind that.
So when you were making that phone call, were you nervous at all?
No. I mean, I forgot the feelings. I don't think so. Yeah, I just called. He didn't pick up. Yeah. I didn't expect him to pick up. So I was like, that's the thing. You shouldn't expect for a person to pick up, you know, and not ruin your day. I'm expecting to pick him up. When he called me, I was like, damn, he really called me back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I really thought like his phone number could have been fake or like some phony number on Instagram. It turned out it wasn't.